Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us here today on Inside Health Apps Thursday Live. I am Denise Armenio, and I am your host for today. I am just a little bit about myself, certified emotion code, body code, group energy facilitator, as well as certified genius biofeedback practitioner. So I am so happy to be here with you and to train you on how to use the Genius, as well as giving you some advice in how I will do a scan, as well as helping work with a volunteer in the process. Hopefully we will have someone. If not, we can get to that. But to start with, I'm just going to start sharing our screen, as there is a question on some libraries. I'm actually, let's see. What we're gonna do here. I guess I will just do a Thursday group. I don't see anybody that volunteered. So I'm just gonna bypass the picture and the photo, and I won't put an affirmation in. And let's just run an analysis here. Okay, and so now I'm going to go down to the custom libraries and also do an analysis. Okay, so here are all my libraries. So I'm do an analysis. Okay, so I'm just going to work with the question that we had, and that's if you go into whoops. It's not system overview. Hold on. It's not. Shoot. Where is it? Oh, settings. There we go. Okay, so automatically assign libraries. I'm not going to turn it off right now, but what I would do is turn this off and then log out and back in. Have you tried doing that?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, because when you log back out and back in, I believe it should then like unassign them, I think. Okay, and so then what you would do at that point is, and if you have multiple devices, go in and put turn the toggle off on both accounts.
Mm-hmm.
I would log out. Then when you come back in, you're gonna sync everything, see what happens there. And then in order to get the libraries assigned, you would then go to libraries. And when you're in the session for your mom, you would go to add client, and then you would just specifically check which libraries you want to use for her.
Right, because I got some from two other people, and then there's a new one coming from another class that I'm doing with the neuro cohesion, and I just don't want, I want them separate. So
But you
I,
could also, if you do with like a master branch, you could also like create a master branch and then just put the panels in that you want. And then when you do a search, this is what I would do personally. So when so let's go back out for a second. When you're in custom libraries, let me do analysis. I'm sorry. just give it a second here. So when you go into your search, you could do your search for your master branches. So these are all the master branches I have, but then let's just say, um,
Yeah, I missed getting to library. I'm in system overview. I don't know how to, oh boy.
by going into the back office. No, okay.
Where you're at right now.
Okay, so custom libraries.
Oh yeah,
I
system
click it,
overview. Yeah.
and then it takes me to libraries. And then
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
when you bring down your search, if you set it up as a master branch, even if you keep it at libraries, you can put I mean, you're going to have multiple. So I would set the specific libraries that you want to use to work with your mother
Mm-hmm.
as a master branch. And then you can go here to click master branch and it will just highlight. So let's say it was, the master branch, we'll use neuro cohesion water
Mm-hmm.
element, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's just say that was your mom.
Right.
And so here I could put in neuro, whoops, cohesion, water. Why did that not work? Neuro cohesion. Okay, so now you just typed in that name, and that's all she sees. So now you can click on this, and these are the 3 panels within it.
Okay.
And then, and just so I wouldn't like personally deselect everything. The only thing that I would tell you and this is just, my opinion on it, you have a lot of libraries with a lot of frequencies. And a lot of those frequencies that you shut out by not working with them are potentially underlying causes.
Mm.
So you're eliminating some things that could potentially be an underlying cause. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
So,
It's just that so many things come up that way. There's so many reds. There's
but
so,
does she have to see the screen?
she's not seeing anything. She can't speak. She can't see. She can't not anything right now. She's in a very crisis point.
So
I'm just,
you're only using a certain amount just for you to work with her to
yes, I'm just working
bring it
with her
down.
and sending them to the
So,
cats.
so I would then personally, what I would do, my recommendation is I would keep all your libraries assigned. I would work with your general overview, working with everything. And then when you want to narrow down and be more specific, like your step 3, then
Mhm.
you could do like what I just did and just deal with these few libraries right here.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
you can open them up from here,
Which
when you
one
do.
did you just open? Which one did you just open? The neuro cohesion?
So it was no
That one.
neurocohesion core beliefs.
So
But
you
so when
opened
I
that.
open it up, now these are 3 individual library panels that are inside, right?
Okay.
So you see the arrow here. So,
Yes.
I mean, like I can open all 3 of these panels, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
conceivably, I mean, the beauty of this is when you use the search function is if you just wanted to work with the reds and the blues, you could just do a quick balance from here
Mm.
on 3 panels at once,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
right? Or I don't think you could. I don't know how it would work if I did red items. Let's just see. Yeah, it just pulled in the title. So
Mm.
you have to add it yourself. Like you would have to drag and drop if
Mm-hmm.
you wanted to just work with these 3 from here, but like that narrows it down for you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Could just work on it. That is, part of the beauty of having a master branch is everything. It's like what you wanted to work with in that book. But I would definitely do system overview and not exclude all your panels because again, the blues are going to be your root cause. root cause, underlying cause, whichever word you
Mm-hmm.
choose to use.
Mm-hmm.
But, anything can cause anything. So if you're taking those frequencies out, you're potentially overlooking what could be like the kingpin of the whole issue.
Right. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Thank you. I'll go over this later. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Does anybody have any questions? That I just did that? Did I go too fast or confuse anyone? No? You're all, no questions. Okay. Does anybody want to volunteer? And no volunteers. Okay, so I will work on the group. It is helpful, you guys, when you do participate and in the chat here, so I can have some idea of to direct the training for you to help you. Ellen, I would love to have you as a volunteer. Okay, I'm gonna back out. Thank you for volunteering. I'm gonna clear this. And actually, um, I thought I had you in there, Ellen. Um, do you want me to put your birth date or you want me to just use today's date? It's up to you.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, what's your birth date?
18 October 1976. No, 76. Not.
1970.
It's the other way around. Sorry, my English is not so good. 67. Sorry.
Oh, okay. There you
Yes,
go.
that's correct. Okay.
All right. And so now I'm going to continue with new analysis. So what are some of the issues that you would like to work with today?
Maybe my emotions.
Emotions. Okay.
Yes.
Are they
Maybe
more,
my thyroid.
well, wait, which, like, is it
My
more
emotions. It
like
doesn't matter.
anxiety or like worry or just emotions in general?
In general.
Okay. And so today, on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being severe, how do you feel like, you're impacted by your emotions?
Um, let's say a 7.
A 7 out of 10. Okay.
Yes.
Is there anything else, any other symptom that you're feeling, somehow
My neck.
right? Your neck?
Yes.
And can you rate that also?
Let's say a 6.
6 out of 10.
Yes.
Okay, great. Anything else?
No.
Okay, so
So
we have those two things. I am going to look here just so that you guys can see. I'm just going to highlight neck pain. I don't think there's anything really here. Emotional, unless you wanted to categorize it as either like, are the emotions causing you anxiety or depression? Both?
just worrying.
So more worrying in the future or worrying in the,
Worrying about my daughter.
okay, so it's more like an anxiety type worry.
Yes. Okay.
And worry. Okay. So I'm just going to hit done. Now these filling out this is just a record. This is just for the user's notes. It doesn't affect the scan at all, but it is nice to have this because next time, if you're working with yourself or I work with the same client a week later, 2 weeks later, you have some kind of record there right in front of you. And it is nice to be able to say, oh, hey, how are you doing with your emotions? Or how is your neck today? Last time I saw you, your neck was bothering you. Just so you can see if there's any improvement over time. or not. A lot of times, what I found, especially when I first started, is if you don't kind of rate the pain, you kind of forget what it used to feel like, and where you're at now is kind of your new baseline. So
Yes.
it's nice to be able to go back and say, oh gosh, you remember your neck was a 6 out of 10. Now it's only a 2 out of 10. That's really good. And that does help the client or the user, if you're using it on yourself, actually see that you're having improvement. So I do recommend that you take notes. The other thing is just a reminder, when you go into user records, you won't see this screen every time unless you go into where it says edit. So you're going to have to go into edit, update this with like the new date and check on the new information. And then you have to go back out and then start analysis again. It is a little bit of a pain. I would rather see it where we can see this every time and not have to go like in and out. But right now this is what we have and what we have to work with. So, okay, anyway, I am going to hit begin. And then, Ellen, will you leave you have your mic still on?
No.
I can do
Do I
the
have to
voice,
leave it? Ah, for the voice. Okay.
the voice in the picture, if you don't mind. Otherwise, I'll just bypass it. But if you can
Okay.
leave your voice, I would recommend, you don't need to put your name and you don't need to do your intention. I would recommend that you just say the vowels and just repeat them until the 15 seconds is up. Your vowels have a stronger frequency, so it's going to get a better read by just hearing the vowels, and if you were also saying your name or an intention with consonants mixed in. So I'm
Okay.
going to count you down. I'll say 3, 2, 1, begin, and then you can go. Okay?
Okay.
3, 2, 1, begin.
A E I O U. A E I O U. A E I O U. A E I O U.
Perfect. Thank you. Now in the bottom left, you see voice harmonics. I do recommend that you do use this button. It actually translates what you just recorded into a frequency, and it plays it back for you in the frequency. And it does have healing benefits similar to homeopathics, where like cancels out like. So I'm going to play that right now for you. Okay, and now I'm going to just select next. I'm going to take add it to my photo. Why isn't it letting me drop? Oh, it doesn't want to let me drop it in. That's weird. I might have to take that again. So hold on a second. Oh, it went in. Good. Okay, I'm just going to crop it so we don't have those words in there, and do the same thing here. And we can just hit done. And I'm going to hit begin analysis. Okay, so we can add an energetic affirmation. Do you want me to use the one that I use, or do you have one that you would prefer?
No, do you use yours? Yes, no
Okay.
problem.
So that is all energies are transmuted into the frequency of pure love. And then I just like to add, and so it is. Okay. Now, once I hit okay, similar to your voice, how the Genius translates that into a frequency, it also does it for written text. So it will translate this written text into a frequency, and they call it the archetype. And it will, the frequency of this affirmation will be overlaid every time you run frequencies within this session. So I'm just going to click OK. And then I'm just going to run an analysis here. Okay. So I'm just going to go down quickly so I don't get distracted and start working on frequencies. I'm going to look at your aura and get an aura picture for you. So I'm going to click on the line for aura, and now I can hit begin analysis. Okay. So I'm just going to click on hide avatar so we could get a better view of what's behind the avatar. So we're looking for bright, vibrant colors here. We want to see it clear, not muddy or dirty, or sometimes we see like a grayish overlay, or even sometimes we see black. We do see a little bit of that in here and that overlay, and it's all kind of looks a little blurry and murky looking. That is an indication that there are negative energies in there. So, we will want to look at the spiritual protection. My first two steps do include those if they're out of balance. So we will be addressing that. And if we need to look at it further, we can. So you also want to see the layers. Those are the layers of our auric field. The more layers, the better. It means, we're more expanded and, and dimensionality that we're going out. Now, there is the old version of the aura that we also like to use. And what I suggest, especially for beginners, is the most important information that you can get to as a beginner from here is to see that all four corners are filled with color. This is going to tell you if you're grounded or not, and if you're fully in your body. Now, I do think that you're a little bit out of your body in here, and we do see this dark overlay. This, you could, kind of see it looks a little bit dirty in here. And you can see a little bit of a spot in here. So we will look at your grounding. I'm just going to write that down in my notes so we can make sure that we address that. And hopefully we can bring in some more color in here. Okay, so now I'm just going to touch on what the numbers and the colors mean before we start with our actual scan. So the Genius uses a numerical value system from 0 to 777. You actually will only see 1 to 777. I've never seen a 0 indicated here. So the lowest number that you will see is 1. The lowest range is represented by the color blue, and that goes from 1 to 200. And items in this range are observed to be chronic energetic disturbances, meaning that you've had that disturbance for a longer period of time. It could also be referred to as stagnant energy or under energy, but it's also been observed that any items in this range are also causing a crisis in your field and on your body. So you do want to work with these items. The next range goes from 201 to 450. That is represented by the color green. From there, we go to 451 to 600. That's represented by the color yellow. And then the highest level goes from 601 to 777. That is represented by the color red. And items in this range are observed to be acute energetic disturbances, meaning that they're out of balance right now. You could also, they may also be referred to as heat or inflammation, or over energy. And these items are causing some kind of stress on your body or your field today in the present time. Now, people will then ask me, well, what number should it be at? Or what's kind of like the normal or balanced? For those of you starting off, I would work with just the reds and the blues, those that are a little bit more experienced. What I tend to work with is anything between 400 and 600 is sort of my normal range. And I work with everything outside of that range. So below 400 and above 600. You will get used to that as you work with it more frequently, but in the beginning, just, I would just get used to working with the reds and the blues so you don't overwhelm yourself. And once you understand it a little better, it'll be easier to expand what you're working with. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Okay, so with that said, I also just wanted to say that the genius is not diagnostic in the allopathic sense. It is looking at energetic disturbances only. So you can't take anything from this, from this session or from a report and bring it to your Western medical doctor and say, this is what it's telling me. It's telling me that my vitamins are, been out of balance for a long period of time. Frequently what people will think is that if a vitamin shows up blue, that they're deficient on it. That's not what it's saying. It's just saying that it's out of balance for a longer period of time. It is possible that you are deficient in it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to correlate in the same way to a blood test. So, and you could be eating those vitamins if you have a healthy diet, but depending on what's going on in your gut, perhaps you're not absorbing them, or perhaps there's some kind of intolerance that's keeping you from absorbing it. So there are different things to look at. The first thing my step one, and the first thing I always like to look at is working on balancing the biofield and vitamins, minerals, amino acids. I have a library that works with those, and I've added a few extra things to it. But if you don't have the library that I'm about to use, you can just add all these items here from the biofield into the main hold tray, and then also drag and drop your amino acids, minerals, and vitamins, and work with those as your first step. I'm going to start by going to custom libraries. And hit begin analysis. Okay, and then I'm gonna select, hit this little tab button, and this is a search. So I'm just going to type in bioterrain. And here is where you'll find your vessel priming frequencies. This is always where you're going to want to begin to have your step one. I am just going to click on it and drag it down, and you can see it adds 188 items to the main hold tray, which is a much a faster way to get all those frequencies into the main hold tray. If you wanted to look at them, you can just click on the line and now you could see all the items that are in that panel. I have added all the reds, yellows, greens, and blues because when we work with the main hold tray, it's going to look at the relationship of all these items. So it is possible once we run the analysis in the main hold tray, which is actually like Progressive Insights, some of the yellows or the greens could become reds or blues because they may not get along with all the other frequencies that are around them. And these are all really important and I don't want to miss anything. So that is why I've added them all. Now I'm just going to select begin analysis. And I'm going to put the timer to 1 minute and I will select all. And I believe maybe somebody can correct me, but I think hydrogen was yellow and now it's showing up as red. So that would be a perfect example. But I'm not positive, but I think so. Right, so excellent. The reason why you have this pop-up saying that it's excellent is because your average percent rectification is above 40%. So that is really good. The next thing I always recommend is that you look at the 3 percentages just above for harmony, alignment, and energy flow. The average of those 3 percentages is what makes up the average percent rectification. But I like for you to look at the lowest percentage, which in this case is 38, and your high, which is 46%. And I don't really like that range to exceed 20. The reason being is it's not as stable. It will go out of balance much easier. So let's just say this is within the 20, so it's great. But let's just say the range was 40%. If the average percent rectification was 42, personally to me, that average percent rectification isn't as good as, let's say, maybe a 38 where there was a range of only 5. So you'll get used to seeing that the more scans you run, but that is just like a general rule that I like to use when working with balances. So in this case, since it's above 40%, the next step I like to do is hit rescan, which is up here on the top right. When we work within the quantum field, everything is a probability. So we know that of the 188 items, 42% balanced or harmonized, but we don't know the specifics of which ones that is. So, we just know that you have about a 42% rectification. So now I'm going to rescan. And now it tells us what our new highs and lows are. Now, since we've already had a good rectification on all of the items, I just like to work with the highs and the lows right now. So I'm just going to select the highs and the lows. And I'm going to put the timer on 0 minutes. When it's on 0 minutes, it's sort of like a manual timer, so it will run until you stop it. I like using it on 0 minutes a lot because oftentimes I will run it for less than a minute. And if you ever wanted to run it for more than 30 minutes, you would also need to put it on 0 minutes. However, I don't necessarily recommend running frequencies for long periods of time. The body tends to like short bursts. So I'm just going to run these now for about 30 seconds. Okay, the percent rectification is lower on here, so I would probably deselect the highs in this case and now just run the lows for 30 seconds just to see if we could get some movement. Sometimes it needs to work with the items in smaller chunks, not as many items, and that's helpful. Sometimes the client could be dehydrated. So if you're we had a relatively high percentage before, so I'm just going to guess that we need to work with a smaller group here. Okay, it's at 29%. The range is still good. Because this is a demo, I'm not really going to work with these anymore to get them higher. I think you get the main idea. And now I'm going to arrow back so I can get to the system overview page. We can click on the main hold tray, this up arrow, and that will allow me to clear what is in the main hold tray. So now I'm going to go to my step 2. I talked about this earlier when I was, when we first came on. The system overview to me is really, really important, especially when you have other libraries. What it actually does is it takes all your line items from the system overview and all my library panels, and it puts it all in one list. And now you can see from top to bottom or bottom to top, however you want to view it, what all your blues are together. And those are mostly going to be your underlying causes. So in my opinion, it's really important to work with these. It will first show you the reds. I like to flip that view by clicking on the 0 to 100. And now we can see the ones that have been chronically out of balance. So here, just to give you an idea, we have metabolism of cholesterol and fat is optimized. We have an affirmation for money and abundance. I have financial freedom, and so it is. Neuroception is now restored and healthy. Stabilize the 5th dimension. We see a 0.1 on your governing meridian, and that's actually a really important point. The first point and the last point are important in meridians because that actually like triggers the energy flow. So that would be a good thing. Ellen, I don't know if any of those others resonate with you at all, but regardless, they are important to work with. So I am going to hit the little plus button down here on the bottom, and I'm going to work with right now, I'm going to add the bottom 50. Okay. We are, for demo purposes, since we don't have so much time, I am going to work with the reds and the blues together. If you have a lot of libraries, you may want to work with the reds and the blues separately, but for time purposes, I am going to work with them together. So now I'm going to select the top the top 50 items. That gives us 100 items. And now I can remove my items or my libraries rather. And I can add the reds and the blues from the system overview. So this is usually going to put it over 200. So yeah, it's, close to 400. I don't normally recommend working with this many frequencies. Again, it's for demo purposes, and I'm only going to work with them for a short period of time. But I would break it down and not work with so many. So I'm going to go to the Progressive Insights now by hitting this play button, and we can hit begin analysis. Again, I'm going to start by putting the timer on 1 minute and select all and run those. Excellent. So you have an average percent rectification here of 45%, and your low is at 40 and the high 49. So that's fantastic. The next thing I would do here, since it's above 40%, I would hit rescan. I am going to try just working with the highs and the lows. It may be too many at one time to get a high rectification, but let's just try it out anyway. We'll put the timer on 0 minutes and just run it for about 30 seconds. Hey, awesome. You're at 48%. And again, the range is between 46 and 54. So again, that is excellent. I'm now going to go back to the system overview page, and we can clear out the main whole tray. Ellen, I just always like to check in with my clients after these first 2 steps and just see if you've noticed any shifts. Is your neck still like a 6 or a 7 out of 10? And what about your emotions? Your neck is about a 5. Okay, great. So you have some improvement there. Anything in how you're feeling emotionally, or just your neck? You're calmer. Awesome. I do like to check in here, because I also think it's really important how everybody can see how important these first 2 steps are. I haven't even worked with addressing any of her specific issues with her neck or her emotions with worry or grounding. Now, grounding, we can't really tell from here, but she probably is more grounded if she's feeling calmer, because she would be more in the present moment. But without even working with those issues, working with these items, there's already an improvement. So that's always important. Okay, so now let's start with what would be a step 3, and that's working with the issues or the symptoms. So I am going to go to, let's go to emotions first while they're here, and look at that. We didn't even look at this before. Worry is the top one in the present moment that is off. So if that is not spot on, so let's add in the red emotions. We can look at with some of the blue emotion, add the blue emotions, because those are ones that would show up on a more chronic basis. And I didn't have time to look, but I always like to add in the positive ones. So let's add gratitude. And I didn't see where love was, so let's add love as well. And now I want to go to spiritual protection. And we've worked with all of these already, but look, here we are. Grounding is blue, and we got that from your aura picture. So we're going to add that in. But you can see, as you get used to working with this, you can kind of see the patterns that form. So the more you work with it, you'll begin to see what things show, what, you know, different areas that will be off based on whatever your symptoms or issues might be. Okay, so now the other thing we can go to, I am going to add in your spinal energy. Again, we work with these already, but I'm just going to add it in. And now we can go to custom libraries. And I am going to start with the pain library. And I'm going to add the reds and the blues. And then I'm going to go to the human body structure. And I'm going to go to the muscle database. Which is, here it is. And I want to put in the psoas. Because there's a lot of trauma and stress that we hold there. So I'm just going to add that in. So it's a psoas major and psoas minor. I just added them both. And then we can also look for the neck. So let's look at where the neck might be. Do you have any issues with balance, Ellen?
Yes, as a matter of fact, the last few days.
So the hyoid balance, which is in this human body terrain, works with your balance. And that is showing that it is chronically off. So let's work on adding those. I'm going to add them all in for you. This will address the different gaits and things like that. So again, you don't really have to know what's wrong, but if you kind of look, the only reason why I asked you about your balance was because this panel deals with balance and it was very low. So sometimes, we just forget things that may be off or may not think
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Tammy, I did add all the red and blue emotions from the system page, and worry was the top emotion. And then I just added the positive emotions of love and gratitude. Happiness was already in there. So I'm also going to look at cartilage. I'm going to add in again the reds and the blues. I just said that backwards, but you know that I just added them both. And I want to look for, we have joints. So I'm just adding all of these. Everything is connected. So, oh, your ribs, but I don't want to go over here. So I just need to find your neck. Where's your neck? Oh, here it is. Neck muscles. I will add the all of them. Again, since they are all connected, when they are together, I don't know if some of them may change. So we want to see if we can get the problem with the neck head on. Ligaments. If anybody sees if I'm passing neck, just let me know. Um, Tendons. Here we go. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. You did good. The blues and the reds. And I'm going to work with the veins to bring in more circulation. So again, I'm just going to work on the blues because it's getting pretty filled up here. And then the next thing I want to add is the Alaskan flower essences, which are the crystals. They help with grounding, and it is blue. You can see here. Now, what's interesting is that the gem elixirs that have like healing qualities in is showing lower in the score. They're both blue. They have the same crystals, but it has more of like what the healing benefits are. I'm going to add those. So I'm going to add the blue and the red ones. And the greens. And let's work there. So now I'm going to put the timer on 1 minute and hit begin analysis. And we can select all and play those. Excellent. You had a 64% rectification, and it goes from 55 to 70, which is still within that 20%. So that is great. We are at 3 o'clock. So although I would rescan this and run just the highs and the lows, I'm not going to do that today because we're running out of time. But I would like, Ellen, how is your neck feeling? You had said after we checked the last time it was down to a 5. Is it still at 5 or did it get lower?
It's still at 5.
Okay. And how are you feeling, like your emotion wise?
I feel better.
Great. How would you rate it? Just
I think 4.
a 4. Okay, awesome. Now let's just go back and look at your aura and see how that looks.
Denise, which frequency, shape, and form are you using now?
Hold on. I'm on the default, and the reason that is really just I forgot to change it. I normally would have it on archetype encoding, and I would have this on alternating. I had just updated with the beta version, and I forgot to adjust it. So thank you for that reminder. But that's what I was using right now. In fact,
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to run the frequencies really quick again for you in here. Just because I didn't realize that. Let's run them all for 30 seconds and see what happens. Okay, so that's at 33%. I don't know if you notice any shift or anything further on your neck or emotions after running that, since we switched it to all.
I feel it pounding in my neck.
Pounding
Yes.
in a bad way? Okay.
No, in a positive way.
Oh, good. Good, good, good. So that's good. Let's look at your aura. And okay, so we're seeing some of this black show up in here, which we talked about this when we saw you yesterday in the Facebook group, the Mythbusters group. Anybody who, hasn't shown up, we would love to have you. We are Kimberly and I are doing some
Yes, my friends are still there, I see.
yeah, they're still hanging around in here, so need a little extra help in here. These tend to be more of your nefarious, not friendly beings that are hanging out in here. If we go to your old, this does look better to me. I mean, you appear to be more grounded to me based on this. Some of the colors are coming in vibrant. This is probably a little portal in here, and this is probably that nastiness you see on that other view. You see this black coming in here, and you appear slightly not 100% grounded, but much better. So, do I have the link? Hold on. I can see if I have the link here. I think I have it. There you go. I just put the link in for the Facebook group. So anyway, so we are at the top of the hour. I hope you are feeling better, at least better than when you came. You will need a little support if you don't know how to do that clearing, probably to get that dark circle out. When that shows up, guys, usually in my experience and in Dr. Kimberly McGeorge's experience, you need a little bit more than the genius to clear that out. So anyway, thank you everybody for showing up and being here. Always love having you here, and we will see you next Thursday. So thank you again. And thank you, Ellen, for volunteering. I really appreciate it. Okay, so we will see you next week. Thank you.